Welcome to Unmasking How to Lead with Emotions. This video is for you if you are someone who identifies herself as a self made woman in her 30s and 40s, and you are someone who knows what it means to take a stand for yourself, and you have done it in the past. You could be someone who could be owning a business, or you could be starting a business, or you could be someone who would be really successful in your career, be it in a professional sector, IT sector, or a government sector, or any other creative sector out there. And here is what I want to share with you in the next 20 minutes. How to be emotionally stable. What does it mean to feel emotionally calm? How do you actually build a strong character rooted in values without compromising on your principles? What does it mean to have a clear, healthy communication in all relationships, irrespective of be it professional or personal, having an emotional openness without feeling burnouts, aligning all the areas of your life, be it career, relationship, your life choices, and most importantly, what to really do or what to really feel when there is no alignment. So, in the past few years, I've been blessed to transform a few of these lives where females were earlier suppressing their emotions, but later they learned what it means to feel relieved and at peace with themselves. What does it mean to be more confident about the decisions that they make and be more clear of what they are doing? What does it mean to have their life and emotions in control, knowing exactly what to do when a chaos comes in front of them? Wouldn't you like that? People who have improved their efficiency 5x, women who have gone to claiming their power back, irrespective of what the world was telling her. Women who have understood the positive changes and they have really embraced it. They've really started realizing the changes that they are undergoing and they are loving this actual me. They are finally being introduced to the real self, their self being really improved over a period of time, them feeling really comfortable in their own skin and not worrying about the extreme fears, anxiety, guilt, and feeling emotionally overwhelmed. Now, here is a question for you. Are you happy in life? And while you think of that answer, are you happy in life? Here is what I want to tell you. There are many women out there, not just you, who could be feeling that, I have achieved well and good in my life. I mean, look at this person. So she was someone who is all the way in Germany working her best life that she can, but at workplace she was having a lot of problems like coordination problems, stress in office, feeling scolded, like most of the times getting scolded by the manager, not feeling happy, not smiling in the office, low self confidence, and so on. But after 2 months, when we started working on her emotional trauma and the pain that she was carrying and the emotional suppression that she had been doing over a period of time, we figured out that in 2 months, her experience in the office changed. So she went from this to this, where co-workers are now friendly, the same co-workers. She doesn't feel stress in the workspace, her work efficiency improved, and she started to feel more confident about herself. And most beautifully, she came for the professional thing, but she started to see the changes in her personal life as well. Here is another story of another woman who was going through a very difficult phase of a marriage with a narcissistic spouse, and she had already connected with different counseling, professionals about the trauma that she had underwent. And here also she felt that this would be somewhat a normal counseling session where we would just discuss about her problems and then I would set her off. But it turned out to be different. And what she ended up feeling at the end of it was calmness and peace with herself. And later, she could really understand her fears, insecurities, the negativity that she had bottled up since childhood. And once she let it out, she became confident in her relationship, knowing what exactly to do and what not to do. So if you are a successful woman manifesting peace right now, because trust me, it's the happiness which you're looking for, it comes from this peace of knowing that you are in control, then this opportunity is tailor made for you. Now, let me set your right expectations. Will you start feeling peacefully powerful by the end of this 20 minutes video? Probably not. Or maybe if you follow and execute the processes exactly the way we have described in this. But will you be following the strategies exactly and doing the processes? Again, you know yourself better. So I leave that to you. And to be honest, for me to help you out, I need to understand your unique emotional problems. And to do that, let me first lay out in front of you some of the real reasons why you are not able to emotionally evolve and feel peacefully powerful within, despite doing a lot of things, based on my experiences with a lot of women so far all across the world. You could be someone still relying on the old methods, multiple mindset programs, coaches, practicing meditations, law of attraction, gratitude, learning modalities like NLP, because hey, why not become self-sufficient? Going to 45 minutes of session with the traditional therapist, psychologist, or going on 2-3 day retreat programs or workshops. Now, these all are good. But the problem with them is they often end up making you feeling guilty for not being positive enough. That's the general one that you'll find in all of them. What are the differences? Well, programs which are often designed for the masses, they are unable to cater to your emotional root causes and provide you a proper space where you are able to actually express your true emotions and understand what you're feeling deep down under all of those layers of things which you have settled down over the years. And that ends up reinforcing the mask where you feel, oh, if I have to be like the crowd, I have to feel like the crowd. So, what you do, you just end up simulating positivity rather than actually undergoing transformation. What about meditations, law of attraction, practicing gratitude? Again, all of these are tools and techniques that are really useful after you address your emotional trauma, because your subconscious is what matters the most. It is what is powerful. So all of these things come later, not before. And as I say that, it can, when you do this without addressing your emotional traumas, you can often trigger traumas and not soothe them with all of these things that you end up doing. And again, they don't work for you. The problem with the 45-minute sessions, well, 45 minutes are not enough to help you open up your nervous system and process everything that is going there. So, it ultimately just reinforces the fix me fast culture that doesn't work. And ultimately, what you end up doing is you end up sharing your side of the story. They end up sharing some advices and suggestions from their side, and the session is over. So again, you feel that did not work for me. What is the problem with learning modalities when this is an entirely new, different thing? See, when you are there trying to understand your emotions and process your emotions and come out of your emotional trauma, learning something is not going to help, because you suddenly shift from accepting your emotions to going into a self-development field. So when you're harnessing and you're working on your skill sets, you're not working on your emotional health. So these two are very different things. So even though you might end up learning different modalities, it is somewhere really questionable whether you can heal yourself with them when the real time comes up. And I'll tell you why when I share my own story with you. The problem with 2-3 day retreat programs, well, when you go there, you feel that emotional high, but is that your real environment? Because when you're there, you end up feeling catharsis. You undergo catharsis, not transformation. And when you're triggered in those situations, what happens is you are not provided with a focused support group that again gives you a sense of false completion, but not real healing. So if you are still relying on these old methods, oof, Can we be done with the fake promises that you're promised there? Can we be really done with the old systems that they are following and they are just copy pasting it to you? Can we be really done with the trial and the testing methods, that whether this works for the crowd or that works for the crowd, where half of the people say, yes, this worked for me, but half of the people are just stunned, feeling what happened? So if you're done with it, then hear me out. I have known women for the past few years in shame, feeling low self esteem, really struggling to feel peaceful at the end of the day. And how do I know it? Well, let me share something really personal with you. So recently, I was going through a really tough phase in my life. I reached out to a professional because you remember I said just because you know something doesn't mean you can really apply it on your own when the time comes up. So I reached out to a professional because, yes, I'm not perfect, I'm not human, and I do believe in getting help as well. But again, what happened was, instead of my emotions being held, them being processed, and someone really holding my hand, I received worksheets, movie suggestions, and pep talk at a time when I really needed to cry out loud, to be seen, and to be made to feel safe expressing my pain. And this is what I was reminded in my moments of need, what people need. What people need, what women need is to express their emotions without feeling emotionally guilty. And if you agree with me, then let me share my screen again. Here is something for you, unmasking, something which I have developed as a process over the years. And this is not just my process, but it's a process that has been developed by, over the 45 years, because I am the third generation in my family doing this. And to be honest, this actually helps you process your emotions. Now, here you might ask me, Meenakshi, why is it necessary to process my emotions? This is the answer that I have for you. You see, we often ignore the fact of how important it is to address and resolve your emotional trauma, because when you don't do it, it ends up going into being, mental health problems, creating all those anxiety, panic attacks, nervous breakdowns in the moments that you don't want to break down, physical health problems like back pains, body pains, migraine, or even severe diseases like arthritis, osteoporosis, cancer, diabetes, and so on and so forth, PCOD, social health problems where you end up having really bad relationship with the people around you, or toxic relationships with the people around you, or career problems as well. Because hey, in career, relationships matter a lot. How you communicate with people, how you are with yourself. You remember that one of my case studies where the person was creating a lot of problems in her own space, and after 2 months she realized that the same colleagues are actually good to her. So that is what you end up doing. Now, unmasking, why is it effective? I would say because it helps you evolve from your deep rooted emotional wounds, helps you build inner calm, clarity, confidence, helps you rewire all the trauma driven habits, or, like people pleasing, emotional suppression, all without shutting down your feminine softness. Now, if you are someone who's really successful, then I'm sure you would be struggling with the idea of, am I really masculine in my energy? Because this is what most of the women end up doing. So here is what the unmasking method gives you. If you don't believe me, then let me share the phases with you and then you decide for yourself. So, this is what I say, that there are three phases in the emotional evolution. First is where you unmask your emotional wounds, whatever it is that you have experienced in life. Then you gradually start accepting the changes, welcoming the changes, and gradually processing the changes in your highest good, ultimately going to a point where you start realizing the real definitions of what it means to be the authentic you. Because to reach here, you have to unlearn a lot of things more than learn a lot of things. So here is the first phase for you in short. It is to experience emotional intimacy and openness without feeling the fear of being too much, as to be honest, I did when I worked with one of the professionals. And it's not a good feeling. So, when you are actually provided a very comfortable, peaceful, safe space, you end up identifying what emotional suppressions you have done over the years. You understand your emotional triggers, and you understand what it means to have a safe expression for all of those intense emotional packages of emotions that you have never dared to unpack. The second phase comprises of you building an emotionally regulated system that helps you be more calm, clear, and connected when you are actually out there in the field. So, what do we do in the second phase? Is we sit together, we face the discomfort without numbing together, we help rewrite the inner narratives together, and thus we create an inner identity shift so that when you're out there, you know exactly what to do in those few seconds because you have already done it a lot of times with me in the sessions. The third phase is where you live from your feminine core. No more masking, no more hiding, no more trying to copying others, but being you, being the natural, authentic you. You finally understand what emotional integrity means. You know, we talked about how you can end up being that strong emotional character without compromising your values. Well, this is where you finally start understanding that on owning all of the sides of you, being in an authentic relationship with the people and the environment around you. The best part is that, again, you learn how to regulate your emotions without masking. So, you tell me, do you feel it is effective? This strategy does not just allow you to understand yourself, but as I claim, emotionally evolve. It also helps you create that emotional authority. And finally, you are put in charge of that narrative, not your trauma. Now, let's say you don't do any of this. So, what is the worst thing that can happen when you don't acknowledge your emotional presence as you have been taught by the society? Here's the list of things. You end up feeling lost, empty, numb, lonely, overwhelmed, insecure, fearful, or you overthink, you feel unworthy, you feel disconnected, anxious, unseen, ashamed, emotionally exhausted, and like a burden. Haven't we all been there? Really hoping that somebody would really help us out of this situation. Because when you're here, no logic works. And to be honest, all of these experiences, all of those emotions, they are coming from some or the other experience that is listed here, or even maybe more. But these are some of them. And how do you actually come out of it? Because, you know, that time has gone by. So you might say that, Meenakshi, I've moved on. But let me ask you, have you really moved on in your mind from all of these problems? Because if you are still carrying the consequences of it, if you're still feeling, all of these things, then I would say in your mind, in your consciousness, you have not moved on from these experiences. They are actually still happening in your mind as if it is happening to you today. And that's not healthy. So, yes, you can give it a try all by yourself. You can try this. But here are the dangers of it. You could emotionally bypass some of the things because it is too hard to process. You could have an inconsistent integration rather than a proper integration, which is needed. And you could just, you just bypass it. And that can be problematic over a period of time. You could end up reinforcing the mask system because, hey, it's easier to pretend and to be defensive about something than to address something actually. You could end up having a surface level healing, or you could actually end up feeling disconnected to yourself, as many of my female mentees have complained that they have end up feeling doing all of this when they try to do something like this on their own, because they felt that, oh, you know what, we have done this so many times with Meenakshi, let us try it out with some or the other unexplored emotions of our ours. But to be honest, see, you do need help at certain stages, because we have never been taught how to deal with our emotions by this society. It has always been a shut down topic, like, hush hush topic. So sometimes it's okay to ask for help, just like I did, because hey, I am not perfect either. And if I have to go in a little bit detail of what my journey looks like, it's this. Before 2022, I did what the society wanted me to do. So, I was having all the perfect things in my life, according to society, the perfect career, the perfect person, and everything. But 2022 made me realize that I can have all that, but I would have to give up my values and principles, and I was not really ready to do that. And that's when I chose to stand up for my principles and values, which made me self made after that. So, in short, hi, I am Meenakshi Verma, an emotional wellness coach, and emotional health is my passion. I am proud to be the third generation in my family working in this field, and I'm blessed by them to have this 45 years of legacy of knowledge passed down by my ancestors about emotional health. My journey has taken me from being an ex IIT PhD scholar who's researching on post traumatic growth to becoming the author of Unmasked to Evolve, which recently became a bestseller on Amazon. Along with that, I have mastered a lot of techniques out there which are there and which you might need during the process. So I'm well prepared with all the tools in my gadget. And but most importantly, what I want you to realize is this. I am someone who loves bringing intellectual curiosity, critical thinking, and innovative problem solving to my practice. You remember, I told you your unique problems will have your unique emotional solutions. Because of that, this is what I want to highlight for you. Because that is the actual me, apart from all the degrees and the certificates that I might have acquired over a period of time. And if you ask me, what is my mission? Well, my mission is you. My mission is to support women like you in gently helping you unravel the layers of your inner trauma, of that inner child, releasing shame, and stepping into a powerful emotional presence. And I'm not just saying it. Here are the stories which have oftentimes proved it. You see, she was someone, she's a doctor who a few days back was feeling really nervous. You can see the dates, 23rd of August, 2023. She was feeling very nervous before her exams that, she might not be able to do it, because of which she also got a certain irritation in her hands. She could not sleep. She was feeling terrible. She did not want to attend any classes. She was really anxious about the exam coming. But on 16th of October, all she had to say was that, what, I cleared my exam. You said you will take care of me if things did not go well. And that assurance made her write the exam because, she had actually given up the hope of even writing it. So that is what happens when you finally decide to be there for your emotional self, if you really take that action. And here is another person who figured out that, after attending several programs over the last 2 years, 7 programs from 2021, she finally ended up finding what she was looking for all the time in just 2 months, the confidence to grow her business. So, isn't it wonderful? So now it's time for me to ask you, are you ready for this to help you create your story of evolution and inspire others? If you are that successful woman who needs personal guidance and wants to understand how I can actually help you build your character and help you emotionally evolve in the next 180 days, then book your call with me right now. Now, it's not a sales call because we both know I cannot make you buy something unless and until you are ready. So, do not consider it a sales call. Consider it a meeting where we both connect with one another and try to understand if we are a good fit. And if you feel You are ready to work on the core issues of your emotional problems, enhance your self-worth by working on your broken self-image, restore your inner peace by resolving your inner conflicts, embrace self-love by working on your inner child wounds, reverse your psychosomatic or autoimmune diseases, improve the quality of your relationship with your partner, child, or in your professional colleagues, then here's how to book the call. Go ahead, click on the Calendly link, get your dates, book your time, and fill in the details. And there you go. Once you commit, we can achieve the impossible. Let's discover that. If you're ready, click the link below, and I will see you on the other side.